Hi folks, Marie here to talk today about how to make a to-do list that actually helps you feel less overwhelmed instead of making you feel more overwhelmed or more stressed. Because even if you're somebody who loves to-do lists or loves list making, or especially if you're that person who feels a sense of relief when you dump everything out of your head, make a list of what you have to do, and you feel that lightness, that initial lightness of, okay, I got this, it's all out of my head, I can now think straight. Sometimes what happens is we then make a to-do list that seems fine at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. We make a to-do list for the day that seems totally doable. And about halfway through the day, we realize that nope, there's no way. And that's when that to-do list, no matter how small or big or whatever it is, no matter how good our intentions were at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., then the to-do list can actually feel like this weight on our shoulders. Then the to-do list actually can contribute to our stress instead of alleviating it. And so what I want to come in today to talk about is how to make that to-do list actually help you take action and help you feel confident and competent instead of making you feel overwhelmed. So fundamentally, a to-do list that works has two qualities to it. The first is that it is actionable. So a to-do list that has something on it like, figure out when we're visiting my in-laws. That is not actionable, right? That's too broad. What might be actionable is something like, speak to my spouse for 5 minutes today about what, he thinks about our trip to visit the in-laws. Or something actionable might be, look at flights for July going to visit my in-laws. I'm making this up. But the point is that whatever's on your to-do list, it needs to be actionable. You need to be able to take action. So for work things, it might not be respond to email, but instead reply to the 3 most urgent emails in my inbox, for example. Or make sure I reply to Erin over in accounting. Whatever it is, the more specific, the more actionable, the more effective your to-do list is. So the first quality a good to-do list has is that it's actionable. All the steps on it are actionable. The second quality is that it's achievable. What's on your to-do list is something you can actually get done in the time you have. And this is where a lot of us, I think, get into trouble, especially as the day progresses, or if you're like me and you do a to-do list for the week. I do that for my home life. I have a to-do list for the week rather than focusing on the day, because I find that with kids, my days are all over the place. But I can usually have a good sense of what can happen in a week. But even that is not always what you think will happen. All it takes is one person in the household getting sick, or one unexpected event happening, or just one monkey wrench in the whole routine of the family, and whatever to-do list I made on Monday can easily be derailed by Wednesday. So let's talk about the second part, a to-do list that is achievable. You start with whatever your time period is. If it's the beginning of the day or beginning of the week, you look at the time you reasonably have where you have a choice about what you're doing. And for some of us, that can be a little intimidating because we don't have a ton of choices about our day. But really looking honestly at your day or your week and say, okay, I have all these things that need to happen at some point. What can I reasonably get done today? Or what can I reasonably get done this week? And then you make a to-do list that's truly achievable, that you really think you can get done in that day and you actually get everything done, or that week and get everything done. But there's another piece to this. At some point over the day or over the week, there is a good chance that you are going to have to check in with that to-do list and face the reality that what you thought was achievable in the morning is no longer achievable by the afternoon. Or what you thought was achievable on Monday is no longer achievable by Wednesday. I'm here to tell you, if you have that moment, you are totally normal. You are not alone. I'm somebody who teaches something called the organized parent, and I still have these moments. It's a combination of the fact that life throws surprises our way and the fact that most of us think we can do more than we actually can in a period of time. We think that if we have 30 minutes, that means we can be really focused and energetic for that full 30 minutes. But if those 30 minutes are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we may not have as much energy as we do early in the day when we're making those plans. So you want to make sure your to-do list is achievable when you make it. And then always, when you start to feel overwhelmed by your to-do list, that's a great time to check in and say, what's actually achievable now? And one way I like to think about this is take whatever your to-do list says in those moments, cut it in half. Look at it and say, if I can only do half of this, which half am I definitely going to do? There's lots of ways to set those priorities, but really being honest with yourself, because a to-do list that works usually means less is more. The less you have and the more actionable it is, the more your to-do list helps you get stuff done. The less actionable your to-do list or the longer it is, the more it's overwhelming and you just don't look at it because you don't want to look at it because it's going to remind you of all the things you're not doing. So today, what I would like you to try to do, whether you're making a to-do list for today or for the coming week, I want you to make that to-do list really actionable. Every item on it should be actionable. And I want you to think realistically about your day and your week and make your to-do list achievable. But most importantly, that third step, partway through your day or partway through your week, look at the to-do list. No matter how much it stresses you out, look at it and say, okay, I need to make this achievable. It's no longer achievable for me. How do I shrink it down? If I have to cut it in half, where do I make those cuts? All right. So that's my little spiel about how to make a to-do list work for you instead of overwhelm you, because it's important to remember your to-do list is not a measure of your self-worth. Your to-do list is a tool to help you keep the mental load you carry out of your head. It's a tool that works for you. You don't work for it. So take back some control. Remind yourself that your to-do list is just a tool. It's not a measure of your self-worth. And make sure it's actionable and achievable so that it's a tool that helps you, not a weight on your shoulders. Thank you so much for watching. As always, check out createbalancedlife.com. Sign up for my newsletter where I send these how-tos and tips and other thoughts once a week in my Happy Monday newsletter. I'd love to have you on board. Thanks for watching.